Today we start a new series called Crypto Powered. This will be similar to our last series, Spreading Crypto, but now we're exploring a new theme. At Genesis Block, we're building a digital bank that's powered by crypto and blockchain technology and decentralized protocols, and that sounds like a lot of buzzwords, and it is. So what does any of it mean? How does it give us an unfair advantage? What superpowers are unlocked? What are the benefits for users? In this series, we'll answer all these questions. Grab some popcorn, sit down, put your feet up, make yourself comfortable. Let us take you on a journey. Let us be your tour guide down the crypto rabbit hole. But hold on, pump those brakes. Before we dive into the crypto rabbit hole, we need to establish some context. We can't talk about the future of money unless we first understand the problems of money today. We need to understand what's broken with legacy finance. So let's do a quick primer on the current state of finance, and that will set the stage for the rest of the series. All right, let's go. Over the last decade, legacy financial institutions, banks in particular, have not been meeting the needs of younger, more digital generations. And as a result, fintech startups have emerged and effectively unbundled the consumer banking stack. Whether it was Robinhood for investing, TransferWise for cross-border payments, SoFi for student loans, Wealthfront for wealth management, Digit for savings, these innovative upstarts all focused on a single use case and nailed it. While great for a period, this led to a lot of fragmentation. Users needed to split their finances across many different services and keep track of what money was where. The cognitive load for many users became overwhelming. As we've seen in other industries like media and entertainment, the pendulum swings back to bundled services. It went from cable TV to individual channel subscriptions, and now it's back to YouTube TV, Disney+, Hulu. But it comes back better, more valuable, a digital experience for end users. In the last few years, we've started to see a rebundling of consumer finance. But instead of users going back to traditional banks, the rising generation is choosing to bank directly with these innovative digital fintech companies. Each of the startups I mentioned earlier is now offering a more bundled experience with things like checking accounts, debit cards, and other services. In Europe, we've seen the enormous rise of neobanks and challenger banks like Revolut, Monzo, N26. These are all-in-one solutions for modern consumer finance. And this trend is starting to grow in North America with apps like Chime. And the original one was an app called Simple. We believe this bundled approach is here to stay, especially for the younger, more mobile, digital generation. They prefer convenient, easy-to-use, all-in-one solutions that require little effort and minimum commitment. While many of these high-flying fintech unicorns have seen incredible success, I believe it will be short-lived as long as they're building on legacy financial infrastructure. And this is a realization I've come to only recently. In years past, whenever I met a fintech entrepreneur, they'd always suggest that they'd never do a startup in traditional finance again. Too expensive, too complex, too slow. I always shrugged it off, like wimps. How hard can it be? I really didn't believe or understand that pain until we started Genesis Block. And it wasn't until we began integration with some of our partners like Evolve Bank and I2C and Visa that I really started to understand. The rumors were true. They were right. The pain is real. Trying to innovate in legacy finance is like running on a hamster wheel blindfolded while powerful, evil rats randomly throw explosives inside at your feet. Now, luckily at Genesis Block, we're only integrating with legacy finance at the edges, the on-ramps and off-ramps, and money in, money out. We've worked with great partners, and so far, we've been able to navigate this treacherous terrain. You must be wondering, why and how is it so bad? Well, it's all the things that you would expect and guess. The antiquated tech stack of financial institutions, the frustrating process of working with big, bureaucratic, slow-moving organizations, the prehistoric payment systems that have not improved in decades, for example, ACH payments and their strange batch processing practices, the countless unnecessary middlemen on every card swipe, merchant, acquiring bank, processor, card network, issuing bank. The slow settlement times, the systems rife with fraud, an industry oozing with predatory practices and unethical behavior, the moth-eaten laws and regulations that are not innovator-friendly, And that's mostly due to Wall Street incumbents who control politicians. So the list goes on, and maybe someday we can dedicate an entire series to it. It'll put you right to sleep. But the more familiar I become with how legacy finance works, the more convinced I am that the future of money cannot be built on that foundation. The fintech darlings of Silicon Valley are all building on extremely shaky ground that is ripe for massive disruption. They will spend so much time looking backwards, integration, compatibility, regulation, that they will have very little time to look forward with innovation and progress and disruption. They will be tangled in the quagmire of archaic tech and the tentacles of outdated regulation. I don't believe the ultimate winners in consumer finance will come from the current cohort of fintech unicorns. And that's because these companies are all building on the pipes of legacy finance. The future of money will be built on a foundation that is digital, open source, permissionless, and decentralized. The future of money will have no borders or middlemen. The future of money will have no big institutions or governments controlling or censoring it. The future of money will be built on blockchain technology. The future of money will be built on crypto rails. The future of money is crypto. It's the missing piece of the internet age, and quite frankly, long overdue. This is an entirely new paradigm, new infrastructure, new pipes. And with blockchain technology, while it provides a strong base, this tech alone won't be sufficient. As we discussed in our previous series, Spreading Crypto, these powerful protocols need killer applications to reach broader adoption. The apps need to be simple, convenient, and require no blockchain education. They need to fit nicely within existing workflows and behaviors. A digital bank like Genesis Block is a perfect app to propel crypto to the masses. So at Genesis Block, that's the foundation that we're building on. It's a powerful combination of the underlying technology and the unique approach of how it's delivered. So the future of consumer finance belongs to those who build with blockchain technology at its core and know how best to take it to the billions of people around the world. That's our thesis at Genesis Block. Our last series went deep on how the tech reaches and touches end users. This new series is all about what's under the hood, crypto and blockchain, and how that can give us an unfair advantage in the world of consumer finance. While some fintech products are giving users the ability to buy and hold crypto, Robinhood, Revolut, Cash App, they aren't leveraging the technology beyond that, and they most certainly aren't building their infrastructure around it. So let's ask the dumb VC question that some of you are thinking. What if these fintech companies or big banks just copy what we're doing at Genesis Block? What if they add blockchain? Well, sorry, you can't just add blockchain as if it's a pizza topping in a DoorDash order. That's not how it works. I mean, you can say you're doing that, but it's not real. That's just innovation theater. The systems behind banks and fintechs are deeply integrated with legacy financial rails. Trying to retroactively add blockchain in any meaningful way would be like trying to make a 2020 Lambo with a 1910 Ford Model T engine. No matter how talented their engineers are, it just ain't gonna happen. Not unless they burn it all down and start over, which has massive risks. It's a classic case of innovator's dilemma. Will anyone have the courage? I don't know. I think they're much more likely to acquire someone like Genesis Block than gamble their entire business on it. But we aren't cheap. These new decentralized protocols are complex, fast-moving, and full of snags. Our team has been in this space for many years. We understand the security trade-offs, the protocol nuances. We spent a lot of time actually building these protocols. And we have enough self-awareness to know what we don't know. Our team at Genesis Block can run circles around traditional banks and fintech companies. Certainly, they have large audiences and strong balance sheets, which can't be underestimated. But when it comes to unlocking the enormous new value to users, as long as the incumbents are building on legacy financial infrastructure, they simply cannot compete with us. The empires created in the 21st century world of finance will be crypto-native companies that deeply understand decentralized technology and know how best to leverage it. It will be the teams who build on crypto rails first, with bridges back to legacy finance second. And that's our thesis at Genesis Block. In this series, we intend to lay out a convincing argument for why that's true. So now that the stage is set and we've introduced this series, I think you're ready to start learning why blockchain technology is our superpower, why it's our unfair advantage. You're ready to dive into the crypto rabbit hole. But first, a word of caution. Once you go in, you may never want to come out. It's what happened to me and many others. Once you see the potential and promise of this incredible technology, you won't be able to ignore it. You won't stop thinking about it. It'll capture your imagination like few other things can. Don't be afraid of it. Let it take you. Thanks for watching today. Next episode, we start talking more about blockchain and crypto. We'll talk about what makes it so powerful and how it gives us a huge edge in the world of consumer finance. This entire series, I'll try really hard to explain things in a way that even noobs and beginners can follow along. So be sure to subscribe to our social channels so you don't miss any episodes. You can find all our links at genesisblock.com/follow. It's really easy. And if you're watching this on YouTube, just tap right over here where you can quickly subscribe. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.